If you are thinking about buying a home, right, it's now your time to become a homeowner, then wait, don't buy these homes, okay? No, seriously. I'm not saying this to you to be paranoid or to make you paranoid, but if you want peace of mind, which I imagine you do, then you want to avoid these red flags I'm about to cover in this video, okay? That can turn your new home into a disaster, okay? So stay tuned. Let's talk about the homes that I tell my clients to stay far, far away from, okay? I mean like run away, far away. Okay, let's start with the homes that are over 100 years old. Now listen, unless you yourself, the buyer, is 100 years old and you feel like bonding, on a spiritual level with a home, then I wouldn't do it, okay? Now, sure, right? They look beautiful. They're, vintage. They have character. The craftsmanship is exactly what you've been looking for. They have a lot of charm. Look, I get it, right? But charm, it does not pay the bills. It does not pay the plumber. Okay, it does not pay the contractor, right? Old homes usually mean more outdated plumbing, knob and tube wiring, foundational issues, drafty windows, and look, good luck finding replacement parts for anything, right? You might have to replace everything, okay? So even if the home looks updated, right, you have no idea what's hiding behind those walls. So that's really the biggest question there. And that inspection report that you're going to order, right, to check everything, be prepared for a grocery list of things to be on that inspection report. Next, homes that are in a flood zone. Unless you like swimming in your living room like the people in Florida, I will completely skip it, okay? Even if it hasn't flooded yet, if it's in that FEMA designated flood zone, right, those 100-year, 300-year flood zone, then you're gonna need flood insurance. And guess what? That can cost you thousands of dollars a year. It's extra on top of your mortgage and everything. And if it floods once, then you can bet that resale value, poof, it's gone, okay? Because it will always pop up on the report for, has it flooded yet? And buyers want to know that before, right, they buy the home, okay? So that's a risk you're going to be taking on by purchasing that home. So I would just leave it, right? So unless you want, to stress out every time it rains, then this one's a hard pass for me and should be for you. If you bought a home in a flood zone, let me know in the comments below, right, how that experience was for you and how it was selling that home as well. All right, now let's talk about flipped homes, okay? The ones that we see on HGTV, right? Freshly painted, open concept, quartz countertops, brand new cabinets, right? They look good, don't they? They look real good, right? But the question is, did they flip it and do a good job? Or did they flip it fast for profit, right? That's what we gotta kind of weigh out here. Sometimes it's like putting lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig, okay? So these are, pretty finishes that we're looking at, and sometimes they're covering up, right, some lazy work. So I've seen flipped homes, where the HVAC system was still 20 years old, the plumbing was still, pieced together, wiring was old still, right? The roof was still original. It didn't even replace that, right? Definitely be careful with the flipped homes, right? So, but look, don't get me wrong, right? Not all flipped homes are bad news. Some contractors do great work, but unless you trust the contractor, right, and you can verify for yourself with the permits, then you might end up flipping your wallet inside out, trying to fix what they should have already fixed. All right, now next up, homes with too many custom features, okay? Homes can be, with all these custom features can, look cool, right, until they're not. Ever seen a home with a huge fish tank in the living room, right? You thought it was cool when you first walked in, right? Or a Roman bathtub in the bedroom, or a mural of a jungle on the ceiling of someone's bedroom, right? Yeah, it might have been someone's dream home, right, for them, but what someone's dream home ain't what most buyers want, right? So unless you're okay with owning a home that's hard to resell, or unless you're Michael Jordan himself, I'd stay far, far away from it, okay? Now, that's actually the best example I could give you, okay? Michael Jordan had a mansion in Highland Park, Chicago, and he put it on the market, and it's actually been on the market for about 12 years now. He put it on the market in 2012, but he could not find a buyer, okay? And this home is completely, right, customized. But recently in 2024, he found somebody to buy it, but only at $9.5 million when he originally listed it for $29 million, right? That's about a 20 million price reduction. Now, of course, this buyer is anonymous and they are inheriting all the custom things that Michael did do to the home, like that, that real nice Jordan 23 entrance gate he got, that Jordan court he got inside the house, right? He even has some Playboy Mansion doors from the actual Playboy Mansion house in Chicago, right? All of that's there, right? But you get the point. Too many custom features, right? And you can have your home sitting on the market for months, sometimes years, okay? Why? Because people don't want to pay to undo your taste, right? Why do I have to do that? Right, so just keep that in mind. The two final ones are homes on major streets and homes with structural issues. First, the location. If your driveway is directly on a 4-lane road with cars zooming past it at 45 to 60 miles an hour, then look, good luck, driving during rush hour. Good luck, having peace of mind when you leave your home. And not to mention the noise is going to be nonstop, okay? And buyers notice all of that stuff, especially buyers with families and kids, and pets, right? They don't want their kids and their pets near these major roads, right? That is a big risk for them and that is highly undesirable, okay? So you have to think about that. Now, so unless you want the amount of people who could potentially, right, buy the home from you in the future to be significantly less, then I would just avoid it altogether, okay? Then structural issues. Cracks in the walls, foundations unsettling, right? Sloped floors. These aren't just cosmetic things. It's not like just painting a new fresh coat of primer and paint on the walls, right? These things are expensive to repair. Okay, so the home is probably cheaper and sold as is, but unless you're an investor, right, I leave it right where you found it. And guess what? Most lenders, especially FHA and insurance companies, they don't want nothing to do with them at all, okay? So unless you're ready to sink about tens, to thousands of dollars into repairs, this one, you should definitely walk away from and sometimes run fast away. But look, at the end of the day, buying a home is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make, okay? So don't fall in love with the wrong one and avoid money pits. Avoid the headaches, and most importantly, get you a good agent who actually knows what to look for. If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button and subscribe for more real estate tips. And actually, look, drop a comment if you've ever, run into any of these red flags while you were out house hunting. And if you want to know if it's the right time to buy or if you should wait, then check out this video right here, right? But until next time, my friend,